Hey YouTube, Slingblade98 here. Happy New Year's, everyone. This is going to be part 2 of the best and worst of '08 wrestling awards. If you forgot the last award given out in part 1 or you just simply missed that video, the last award we gave out was to Match of the Year. It was HBK versus Flair, the career-threatening match at WrestleMania 24. Tremendous way for Flair to go out. Great emotion, and I think definitely a 5-star classic that will be on both men's DVDs to be sure, as I know both of them do have DVDs. Anyways, it would be a travesty to not have this be released on some type of anthology. It was a very good match. And my match of the year pick for '08. Anyways, that's that. Definitely a 5-star match. Amazing. Anyways, back to the next award, which is Most Deserving Champion. This is who I thought had the most build and the most the most deservingness as a contender to actually get the belt. And once they finally were able to grab that brass ring, I think it was just the most satisfying. You could just give a sigh of relief knowing they finally got what they deserved. Obviously such candidates in the '08 year for this would be Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, and CM Punk. I will kind of do this one by process of elimination. That's a little bit weird, but I'm going to have to knock Jeff out of this competition a little bit early because, I hate to bag on Jeff for it, but he did get suspended a couple months before his title reign would have likely otherwise began. Because, let's face it, they were giving him a pretty big push. It was likely enough that he was going to win Money in the Bank. But, he did get suspended, and I love Jeff, but, that makes him a tiny bit less deserving. It did make his title run a lot more meaningful. Him finally recovering from the screw-up and showing that he did have what it takes. But nonetheless, that makes him a tiny bit less deserving. I'm also going to have to knock out Samoa Joe from this because, it was kind of too little too late. I mean, it seems like he won the title a year or two after he should have. TNA waited too long. And although it was very satisfying, I have a reaction up there. If you watch my pretty old Backlash video from around April, I was pretty excited TNA put the belt around him, but he did a little more than Triple H did with his title run. He just had, a good 6-month-long title run. Not much within it, though, and I was kind of disappointed with that. Joe's one of the best wrestlers in TNA, hands down, and, one of the better wrestlers out there, so I really wish he could have done more. He definitely deserved his title reign and the title win. He's a deserving champion, that's no doubt to me, but he didn't do as much as he could have with that title reign. So if you were paying attention to the nominees, that only leaves CM Punk, who I feel is the most deserving champion of '08. He pretty much, what can I say, the guy's great. He and Joe came from a very similar background. He's been putting on a great show in WWE since he arrived, shortly after the new ECW started up. I think it was like September 2006 or somewhere in the neighborhood of late 2006, but he's been slowly working his way up. He's been earning any push he might have gotten, and he's really been impressive. I feel that he did very good in Money in the Bank. He kind of capitalized on Jeff being down and out, because I'm pretty sure Jeff would have won Money in the Bank if he hadn't gotten suspended before that. But he capitalized very well on that, and it was one of the most exciting moments of the year, in my opinion, CM Punk winning the World Heavyweight title. So he is crowned most deserving champion of '08. Next up, High Flyer of the Year, the most entertaining, flying moves, and I have quite a few candidates lined up for this, but I think it's going to be no surprise who I'm going to pick, because other people have picked him too for similar awards to this one. My nominees are Rey Mysterio, Evan Bourne, Jeff Hardy, and John Morrison. Mainly Rey Mysterio is one of the few high flyers left in WWE. If you haven't noticed yet, that's pretty much what these awards are for. I haven't watched a whole lot of TNA this year, so you can just consider this the awards within WWE. I'm not saying there might not be better people in these attributes out there, but these are the best within WWE in my opinion. So that's how I came up with this list of candidates. And as stated about Rey Mysterio before, I kind of got a little bit sidelined there. He's pretty much on here because he's one of the few high flyers left in WWE. He pretty much does good moves every now and then. He's not as consistent as he was before he got injured. He's getting kind of old, and these flying moves take a lot out of you, and he has been injured quite a few times in the last 3 or 4 years. He's had a lot of injuries to his arms, a lot of tears, and well, you guys have been there. Rey Mysterio has been injured a tremendous amount of times, and it's remarkable he's still able to come out and do these things, at least on a part-time basis. He still does the 619, which is a pretty cool move, and if we're lucky, we'll see a flying move besides a seated senton or one of those just like lame, limp frog splashes where he'll just jump onto the guy. So obviously he's diminished over the years, but still a very good flyer. Evan Bourne, who I'm actually going to elaborate on later, as he's the winner, but let's just look at the other candidates first. Jeff Hardy does some crazy spots, pretty much does the Swanton Bomb, Whisper in the Wind, a couple other second flying moves to that. And John Morrison, who was really only on here because he does an amazing corkscrew moonsault, and he did that amazing moonsault with the ladder at WrestleMania. Basically a filler, if you will. And as I said, Evan Bourne is the winner of this. They actually let him do the shooting star press, and even though WWE has watered down his moveset a little bit, he is still amazing. High Flyer of the Year, and if I was giving out a Debut of the Year award, it would definitely be to him too. But I think he is, the best talent we've seen come along in WWE in 2008. Talent Initiative was good, as some other people have said, but, to quote, I think it might have been the WWE Review guys or someone else, I'm quoting someone on here. They said he was a cut above the rest of those guys that Teddy Long brought in. And I really would have to go with that. Evan Bourne, High Flyer of the Year. Next up, Feud of the Year. I have about 3 nominees for this one. HBK versus Flair, HBK versus Y2J, and Undertaker versus Edge. Shawn Michaels has really been in so many good feuds this year. He's just had a spectacular year. I kind of wish they would give him the belt, to be honest with you. I know he's a legend and he doesn't really need to be champion, kind of like Undertaker. But I think it'd be really nice to see, Shawn Michaels have like one last WWE title run in him. I know he does, and he would make a great champion as he has in past years, but I'd love to see him give him the belt. Anyways, HBK versus Flair. I'm getting off on a side tangent again, but HBK versus Flair was Flair's way of going out of the business. You had the career-threatening matches, and you had Shawn very reluctant to put him out of his misery in some ways, as they stated it along the feud. You had Ric Flair and him very emotional about this, as they have been friends for many years, I believe. You had him saying, "You think you can beat me this easily, that I'm just going to go down." And, there was just a lot of love and friendship in there, but it was also, just a very great series of wrestling matches, culminating in the match of the year, which I highlighted towards the end of the last video and the beginning of this one. And the next candidate is HBK versus Y2J. Very personal feud. I would think that this is many people's choices for best feud of the year. So personal, had a lot of good matches within it. You just saw these guys come out and have a series of great matches, which unlike some feuds, some feuds you might see, a very good storyline with it, but it mainly just culminates in one match. That wasn't the case here. These guys, gave us a lot of wrestling within this one. They didn't just, build it up and then, have it blow over after one match. They literally gave us match after match, and it was amazing seeing them top each other, see how personal it was, them wanting revenge against one another. The next one is, where was I? Oh yeah, Edge versus Undertaker. This kind of carried over from 2007 a tiny bit, I think, as, it had history at least drawing back to there. As Edge cost Undertaker the win, and I think he became World Heavyweight Champion after that cage match versus Batista. Again, I'm doing this from memory, so I'm not checking my sources. Point it out to me if I'm being wrong here, but it had a little bit of lines going back into 2007, and it was very tremendous feud. They had, 3 or 4 4-star matches consecutively, and so I don't end up having to summarize this like the match of the year I did. I'm going to carry this listing on in part 3. Stick around. This is going to have the feud of the year results given to you guys, as well as the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 awards given out. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year's, and I'm going to make part 3 right now. Slingblade98 out. For now, at least.